In Slavic and Ukrainian mythology, Dolya, the good fate, and Nedolya, the bad fate, are personifications of a person's individual fate, representing the portion or lot assigned to someone at birth. They are the daughters of Makash, the goddess of magic, harvest, weaving, womanhood, and Velis, the god of the underworld, wealth, poetry, crafts, and talents. They weave the threads of human life, and a person's fate depends on the kind of thread they weave. So what are they? Dolya, the good fate, weaves a strong golden thread of fate. She is a protective guardian who helps the owner of this thread succeed. If a person has a good Dolya, their crops grow, their trade prospers, and their family is healthy, even with minimal effort. Nedolya, the bad fate, weaves a thin, lifeless gray or black thread, and the owner of this thread will have a hard life full of unfair treatment and poverty. This person will have little success, despite how hard they work. Generally, according to the old belief, a person's fate is determined at the moment of birth, but Ukrainian mythology provides for loopholes in this system and possibilities to change the fate in the course of life. Ukrainian folklore is famous for its active approach to fate. Unlike the Greek Moira, which no one can escape, Dolya and Nedolya are interchangeable if the person takes proactive position in their life. Here are the main life hacks how to bring back your good fate, or at least appease Nedolya. Number 1. You should never complain about your bad fate in order not to anger Nedolya and not to cause even worse circumstances. If a person is able to maintain positive mindset on things, eventually Nedolya might show the person how to improve their life and pass their thread to Dolya, the good fate. Number 2. Finding your real Dolya, that is your real fate or destiny. Tales often describe a hero traveling to the edge of the world to find where their Dolya is sleeping. If the person wakes her up and convinces her to cooperate with him, then his life changes for the better. Number 3. Bargaining and sacrifice. Making offerings in the form of food and cloth at crossroads or abandoned wells to Nedolya or to the spirits of ancestors to appease a grumpy fate. Number 4. Offerings to the mother of Dolya and Nedolya, goddess Makash, who is believed to be weaving the fabric of the universe, in order to bargain that she changes a person's fate for the better. People would bring milk, honey, yarn, linen, cloth, homemade bread as offering to her, and leave it under a tree. Number 5. Radical change. Sometimes changing one's name, moving to a distant land, or taking up a completely different craft was seen as a way to lose the Nedolya that was tracking you. In Ukrainian tradition, the first days of a child's life were seen as a magical window where their future could be programmed. Midwives and families performed specific rituals to attract a good Dolya, good fortune, and ward off Nedolya. The first bath, sacred ingredients. The water used for the first wash was never just plain water. It was a potion of destiny. For girls, midwives added honey, milk, and flowers, like lovage or chamomile, so she would be sweet to others and naturally beautiful. For boys, they added an oak twig for strength or coins and tools, so he would be a wealthy craftsman. Protection. Holy herbs and a silver coin were common additions to ensure the child was protected from the evil eye and never knew poverty. Disposing of the bathwater. The water from the first bath was considered charged with the child's essence. It could never be poured where people walked. It was carefully poured under a fruit-bearing tree or in a quiet corner of the yard so that no one would tread on the child's luck. The parents' linen shirts and inheriting status. Instead of a new blanket, the newborn was traditionally wrapped in the father's worn shirt. This wasn't because they lacked fabric. It was a ritual to ensure the child inherited the father's strength, social standing, and protection. For a girl, the mother's shirt was used to pass down domestic skills and fertility. Feeding the ancestral spirits. On the first night after birth, a dinner was left on the table for these spirits. The dinner usually included bread, honey, and uzver, a drink made of dried fruits. It was believed that if these spirits were well-fed and happy, they would bring a good life for the child. Placing on the stove, the hearth protector. The midwife would briefly place the baby on the pitch, the large clay stove. In Slavic mythology, the stove was the dwelling of the house spirit and the center of family warmth. This ritual introduced the baby to the ancestors and ensured their life would always be warm and never lonely. Finding the talent. When the child turned 1 year old, several items were placed in front of them: a book, a rosary, a tool, and money. The first item the child grabbed was believed to reveal the work their Dolya had chosen for them. So, in Ukrainian and Slavic mythology, the fate of a person is not set in stone. Even in worst-case scenarios, There are ways of how you can take your destiny in your own hands, obtain the support from the powerful beings, and change life for the better. What do you think? Can a person change their destiny?